Mr. Dean, thank you so much for to me today. I'm reading your book, Calling the Shots, and I feel honored to be speaking to someone who played such a big part in football as we know it today. You played a huge part in the formation of the Premier League, and you were also there at the start of the Champions League. More recently, you pushed for the need for video assistant for referees, which eventually led to VAR. And I haven't even mentioned Arsenal. Your role as co owner, vice chairman, and all the successes it had during your time there. I could spend this whole podcast just listing all the things you did.
Now, so I started going to football when I was your age. At
Ah,
the yes, at the age of 10 was my first game. I think about 9 or 10 years old. I went to Arsenal, and they became my team, Luke. And
ah,
I went to my first game, and I loved the atmosphere, the colour, the noise, the excitement, the anticipation, and the competitiveness of it all. And I became an Arsenal fan. And
ah.
your question is, did I ever think I could run the club? That was never in my thoughts. In fact, if anything, I wanted to play for the club. I wanted to be a footballer.
Oh, you wanted to be a football player?
Well, at one stage, yes, but very, very few players ever get to the top.
Yeah,
And my parents were more concerned, and rightly so, that I should have a good education. A
yeah,
football, a footballer's life at the top is only a few years. So,
yeah.
uh, and that's how I got. I really, and that's how when I was your age, I loved football. It was always part of my life. I used to play for the school team and my club.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and the county eventually. So I would play 3, 4 times a week.
Oh, I was born in 2014, and I can't even imagine a time when the Premier League didn't exist. The Premier League started in 1992. Can you talk a little bit about what was there before and how you felt it needed to change?
Yeah, look, that's such a good question. So before the Premier League, and obviously before you were born, in the 1980s, football in England was in trouble, big trouble. We had hooliganism. There was fighting inside the grounds, fighting
Yeah,
out of the grounds. Women were not going to the games. Mothers didn't want their children to go to the games. They were worried about their safety. The facilities in the stadium were antiquated. They were old-fashioned. The whole thing needed upgrading. And the big problem was in those days there were 4 divisions making up 92 professional clubs. And 5 clubs got together of the same mind, and we decided we were going to do something very dramatic, very radical. We were going to break away from the old league. There were 22 teams in the top division. We were going to break away and form a whole new legal entity, reinvent ourselves and call ourselves the Premier League because we felt it needed starting again. And also, I forgot to mention, in 1989, there was a terrible disaster in England, the
yeah.
Hills tragedy, where 97 people lost their lives while watching a football match. That to me was a catalyst. That drove me on. That when I saw that happen and I spoke to some of the families afterwards, I wanted to make it my business to try and change football.
Also, I, uh, why you named it the Premier League?
Good question, Luke. Well, what does Premier mean to you?
Uh, like a kind of high up, I guess.
Yes, yes, right at the top, being the best. We want to
Yeah.
be the best. So rather than call ourselves the best, we called it the Premier League because we wanted to be the best league in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you think the Premier League could change it, though?
Well, yes, good question. So before, when we had 92 clubs in the 4 divisions, here we were taking 22 clubs. And by the way, it went down to 20, but it should have gone down to 18. But that's another story. But we went after 2 years, we went down to 20 clubs. But at least we had one club, one vote. It was easier to make decisions rather than being in a group of 92 clubs where we could never get a proper decision.
Yeah. Now, of course, the Premier League is massive. Probably the most popular league in the world, attracting fantastic players from all over the world and also followed by fans from all over the world. It must be amazing for you to see how it has grown.
It really is. I feel very excited about it. I feel that what we went through at the time, which was not easy, it was very painful because there was resentment and reluctance from the other leagues. So we had to go through the pain barrier to form it. But now when I
Yeah,
look back, but now when I look back, I think it was all worthwhile.
yeah. Looking back to how it has started, what has pleased you the most about it and what has surprised you the most?
Okay, well, the fact is that the Premier League clubs, they run at, here's a statistic for you, at 98.8% capacity. That means virtually every club is full, every game, the stadiums are full. And that is fantastic. And the second thing is the television now, pays 4 billion, not million, 4 billion pounds a year for the rights to televise the Premier League, both domestically and overseas. So when I look at that, I think, my word, how we only started, what we started when you consider it was 32 years ago, right? It's really bad. It goes around the world. It goes to 198 territories around the world. So when you're in Oman, you can see the Premier League game when you're in Oman.
Yeah. What surprised you the most?
I think the way that the quality of the football and the fact that we've got some of the best players in the world playing in the league, and it's just that it's a product now which is seen to be wanted around the world.
Yeah.
Some great.
What do you think are the most important things about how the Premier League was set up all the way back in 1992, which have led it to being so successful? In that context, can you talk a bit about the idea of a European Super League, which has raised its head again recently? What do you
Huh.
think of that idea?
Oh, these are very good questions, Luke. Well, firstly, I'm very much against the European Super League. And when it came about, when it was publicized, I think it was 2021. And this was an idea that there would be six clubs from England joining a Super League just because their name happens to be Manchester United or Arsenal or Manchester City or Chelsea. I found that to be unacceptable
Yeah.
because any sport, it has to be based on merit. If you finish at the top of the league or the top four, you go into Europe. I mean, you wouldn't say Spurs and Manchester United today would be in a Super League. They're in the bottom half of the table. They're
Yeah.
14th and 15th or something in the Premier League table.
Yeah.
So, I'm a great believer in life. If you work hard and you're successful, you deserve the reward. Not just because your name happens to be AC Milan or Barcelona
Yeah.
or Real Madrid or Manchester United. So I'm very much against the Super League.
Okay. Now I'd love to talk to you a bit about Arsenal. You were the co-owner of Arsenal from 1983 to 2007, and you were vice chairman from 1984. Arsenal had a great success in that time, especially after Arsene Wenger arrived, winning the FA Cup 5 times, the Premier League 3 times, and also reaching the Champions League final.
Correct. That's very good.
I love the
And
story in your book of how you came to own 15% of Arsenal. It was so bold. Could you tell us that story?
yes, okay. And as you say, it's in the book. Well, as you know, from your age, I was always an Arsenal fan. And when I managed to buy only one share at a time, and that share was a certificate that I could stick on the wall with the Arsenal logo on it. But it also gave me the account of the club. Every year, I would have their audited accounts of how the club was doing, their financial details. And I noticed there were some shares which had not been issued. I think there was 15% of the shares.
Yeah.
So I decided, I remember writing a handwritten letter, and this is important, Luke. If you write today, it's too easy to write an email to somebody, but if you write them a handwritten letter, it sticks out. It's very important. So if you want to send a birthday card, to somebody, if you write it in by hand, it looks so more important and personal than just sending somebody a cold email. So I
Yeah.
wrote, it was really before emails in any case. So I wrote a handwritten letter to the board saying I'd like to subscribe for those shares. And the next thing is I was asked to go for an interview. And then I went to the interview and they invited me to go on the board. That was the start
Yeah.
of my that was the start of my journey.
Yeah.